Everybody sing it. Kushlash. Hey, guys, it's your buddy Chop It On coming at you another episode of Chop Talk brought to you by the one, the only DFSArmy.com. We're here talking baseball today as I sort through, find the MLB research station. I just love sarcasm. I love throwing little funny things at people because everybody likes to start their videos off with this great big song and hey, let's really get down to business. Dude, come on. I got Kushlash. But the way I see it, we need to dive in. We need to talk baseball today. You need to head down to the comments section and click on the link, dfsarmy.com. Use coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, to trigger that 10% off discount. Become a VIP today because I've got an NFL slate breakdown coming, and then I'm going to dive into some of the shorter slates where we have a better chance at winning stuff in the NFL for my VIPs inside DFS Army. So you've got to become a VIP to unlock all of the material. I do a little bit out in the public, and of course I'm having fun with Chop Talk, but I'm also giving more stuff to my VIPs behind closed doors that you guys don't have access to. So you got to come inside, you got to get the coaching, you got to get the tools, you got to get the content, and of course you got to get all the one-on-one discussion. But you got to do that to be a VIP. DFSArmy.com. Use coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P. Let's dive in. You know how we like to do it. We like to start off with our pitchers, and we like to organize things with K percentage and bring all the high strikeout pitchers up to the top and start adding up the K score with the K opponent K percentage and start slapping these things together. We got a Corey Kluber up top. No, we don't. He is on the early slate, so we need to get rid of that. You hold down the control key, you click off both of those, and now you got nothing left but the main slate. That's how the research station works inside DFSArmy.com. Severino, Pivetta, Glasnow, Quintana, Ryu, Wheeler. Ooh, Wheeler. Did not see him this morning. Odds are we don't need to go much below this kind of stuff, though, because in Fanduel, when we're picking just one pitcher, we don't need to mess with much other than the top-rated pitchers unless you're going to decide you want to get too cute. On DraftKings, of course, you do want to dive down into some of the lower guys, but Odorizzi's pretty cheap. Valdez, Rourke, those guys, Suarez. I don't know who's going to be the best, but you just do the same process all over again. Start off with a mid-range, maybe not the highest of the highs. Maybe you don't use Severino. Maybe you don't use Wheeler. Maybe you don't use Taillon. Maybe you kick into a Pivetta. I don't know. That's not too safe. A Quintana maybe. You might use Ryu at the top of what you do, and then you come down in here to a little bit lesser guy. Because if you pick up one of the top guys on DraftKings, oftentimes you're punting down in here with some of these others just to make it fit. Pricing's already tight. It's late in the year. It's not going to get any better. On DraftKings, on FanDuel, you're pretty much paying up towards the top most of the time. Now, we do have some interesting stuff here over on DraftKings. Look at the price difference between Glasnow on FanDuel and DraftKings. That is a big indicator that we like Glasnow today. When I look at Severino up top, I've got a minus 160 favored odds out of Vegas, and I saw it going up. It opened at a 150-ish. Now it's up to a 160. That's a good sign, too, when the Vegas trends, when the public betting starts pushing the line in a certain direction. That's another thing that you can pay attention to. We've got a 503 K score, which is great, a 96 DFSA grade. We're facing Oakland at Oakland, which is more of a pitcher's park, especially being a night-type game when the marine layer tends to roll in, suppresses home runs a little bit. Last 5 starts, Severino, 43, 41, 39, and then a pukey 18, and then a 46. So 4 out of 5 starts, not bad. Not bad. We could run Severino. Now, we want to look and see if we want to save a little bit of money somewhere. You might look at a Pivetta, 8,200, 490 K score, minus 165 Vegas odds, but only a 69 DFSA grade. Facing Miami, we're never afraid of, but can he do it? Can he get the strikeout potential that he deserves? His last 5 starts are a little bit rocky. 30, 17, 8, 37, 46. 3 out of 5, not bad. But those 2, woohoo boy, they were pretty bad. So he's gonna lean a little bit more. He's a little riskier. He's a little less stable, a little less steady. So you're gonna lean a little bit more towards GPP, or you realize that you just know what you're getting, and when it blows up, you don't bitch about it because you realize that you took a chance to begin with. It just didn't work out. You drop down to a Glasnow. Interesting, because now he's been stretched out. He's been throwing 6 and 7 innings. Last time out of the gate, 40 points, and we were on him. If you followed Gin Music and played him, we were on him. He's got a decent K percentage, or K score of a 477, but for 6,700, that's really cheap, and it's $3,000 more expensive on DraftKings. DraftKings has figured out that he is a starter now. FanDuel is being slow to react. This is your best value pitcher on the slate tonight on FanDuel, and there's no doubt about it in my mind. The 130 favorite out of Vegas is actually slipping a little bit, opened at about a 135. His DFSA grade is up 45. I don't really believe it. Now, if you wanted to, you'd run, say, 2 or 3 lineups with Glasnow in them and then run one run 1 with Toronto in it as a hedge stack. That's not a bad way to go. But his last 5 outings, 40, 30, 20, 30, 36. Anything over 30 at 6,700 is great. It's darn near 5x. God forbid he gets you a 40 and you're bumping up on, what, 7x? That's phenomenal value at the pitching spot, especially when he hasn't really shown the propensity to blow up. But maybe once out of 20% of the time, you're going to get some kind of a lower start out of him. I would be paying very, very close attention to Glasnow. He's probably my favorite pitcher on the night. Ryu isn't terrible either. 8,500, 488 K score, minus 190 out of Vegas, and the minus 190 is going up. It started 175, 180-ish. It's trending upward. 85 rating overall, not bad. Facing the Mets, last 5 starts, 34, 41, 15, 40, and 10. So again, 3 out of 5 starts, not bad. 2 out of the last 3, not bad. Usually a fairly steady pitcher, but prone to blowing up. So Pivetta, Ryu, prone to blowing up. If we looked at Wheeler, quick assessments, only a 440 K score. Granted, the K percentage is a little low for him because he's been striking out more this year, and this is containing 2 years worth of numbers. Facing the Dodgers is interesting. Maybe that's what we don't want to attack out of that spot. But everybody seems to like Wheeler. I don't like him for $10,000 though. I think that's a little bit overpriced for what he would do. Now, if he was in the 8.85 range, then maybe I would consider it. But I don't think I'm going to consider it now because, again, if I'm not paying up for Severino, I'm paying all the way down for Glasnow, and I'm not batting an eye at it. If I ran 10 lineups tonight, I'd probably have Severino in 3 or 4 and probably have Glasnow in 6. That's just how strongly I believe Glasnow. Now, that said, I just cursed him. He'll go get you 15 points tonight. You'll come back and you'll complain to me tomorrow saying what a dunce I am and how dumb I am for thinking that. But the numbers don't lie. They show you what they show you. And the last 5 starts for Glasnow, 40, 30, 20, 30, 36. Those are all good numbers for $6,700. And again, it's an indicator DraftKings picked up on it. Now, what we're going to do, if we found our pitchers that we like, let's find the pitchers that we don't like so we can stack some bats against them. We go to ascending order. Look at all of these guys we can attack today. Below a 40, if you wanted to include Beria, you could, or who is it? Is it Odorizzi? Okay, if you wanted to include Odorizzi, you could. But anything above that is golden. It is definitely attackable. So what you're doing when you're starting your first list, you take a Beria, Odorizzi, Houston, maybe, Colorado, Pittsburgh, Chicago Cubs, Tampa Bay, St. Louis, Seattle, Chicago Cubs. Why is Chicago Cubs on there twice? That's very interesting. Unless they've got a doubleheader today of some kind. Detroit, Minnesota, LA. That's what you're after. I wondered why I wrote Chicago Cubs down twice and didn't even realize it. And I scratched them off thinking, what a repeat. But that's why. At any rate, those are your first components of what we're looking for when we're looking for bats to attack soft pitching. The other thing we would come over to is Vegas odds. I don't think the Vegas lines are up yet. Some of them are importing and coming in. It's a little late for that today. But to be honest with you, it is what it is. You can run to other sources, vegasinsider.com, some other places like that are free sites that are looking at Vegas numbers. And I already pulled the odds off of the pitchers, so I can tell you who's got the implied runs. Anything over a 4.8 is usually what I run. And it is Colorado, Houston, Seattle, LA Angels, Pittsburgh, Texas, San Francisco. Those are your numbers. Those are your implied offenses to score a lot of runs tonight. Will it work? I don't know. Vegas is wrong a lot. But it's a good indicator when we got a soft pitcher and a high implied run total. Now we'll cap it off by looking at who struggles against both sides of the plate to see who's really set up with three quality stars. Come all the way down in here because we got some weak pitching tonight, down to about the 325 mark, and look above Sanchez and Quintana. We would use Sanchez. We would use Glasnow. We would use Fires. We would go against Zimmerman, Colon, Homer Bailey, of course, and Fetty. I thought Fetty was supposed to get the start last night. I didn't watch the beginning of the Cardinals game, so I don't really know if he took the mound or not. If he takes the mound today, great spot for the Cardinals. If he took it last night, I don't know who they're running in and why we picked up on the wrong starting pitcher inside the RS, the research station. But you can always look that up somewhere else and reevaluate. I'm just running it as is because, to be honest with you, I've got a lot of NFL stuff that I've got to get to today too. And I've got a sneeze coming, so if I sneeze, bear with me. Maybe I can pass that one off. The offenses that we're looking for outside of the sneeze Seattle, Tampa Bay, Toronto, New York Yankees, Miami Marlins, Chicago White Sox, LA Angels, Pittsburgh, and St. Louis. So we've got a big list today, potentially. And what we're looking for is guys on at least 2 of the 3 categories and maybe all 3. And we did. We found a few on all 3. LA Angels, Seattle Mariners, Pittsburgh Pirates. Of all things, those are your 3-star offenses tonight. It shocks me as much as it might shock you, but I trust what I see. I trust my numbers. I trust my system. I go with it. It has not been good in August. I promise you, it has not been good. So if you want to play really, really light, lay back for NFL, you have my blessing. But this is the system. This is the system that I promote, the system that I teach. It did us great in April, May, June, and through about halfway through July. And then in August, it kind of turned to crap. If I've got one bad month out of 6, I'm not going to complain. You know what I'm saying? The 2-star offenses, St. Louis, Tampa Bay, and Colorado. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive in. We're going to look at those guys. Now, if you want to go outside those offenses because you've got a different set of numbers you're looking at, or different guys that you know are hot and whatnot, man, go for it. That's what this thing's for. You grab the controls by being a VIP. You poke and plod through this thing on your own, and you're going to come up with stuff. I've had several guys come at me in the afternoon and say, "Hey, what about this guy? Is L7 Woba is this? L7 Woba's in the trending tab right there. Is L7 Woba's 500 and he's facing a bad fit. Man, do it. Absolutely. If you found it, do it. I am superficial, getting you pointed kind of in the right way, just scratching the surface. If you have the time to take what I give you and my little routine and drive it deep, do it. By all means, do it. Let's talk a little bit in the Slack channels and let's get if you point stuff out to me that I might have missed or that I didn't dig in deep enough to find. I love that. That's the group think. That's where I make you better and you make me better, and we're all one big happy team inside DFSArmy.com. LA, I've already sorted them out by 350 and higher for the last 7 days. Again, if you wanted to come over here and use the ISO numbers and get them up over 200, man, by all means. I don't like the low plate appearances, so when I go clicking through the offenses, I will look at that. If you didn't get over about 25, 30 plate appearances, I'm not really all that interested in you. Start with the Angels. We're only going to see a couple of guys, Ohtani and Calhoun. Again, these are not the only guys you should be playing in the offense. These are the guys you should be including in your stacks. You want to throw Trout out there, if he's not hurt anymore, go for it. Golly, they're facing Bartolo Colon. They pretty much got to all be in play. I can't believe Bartolo Colon. It was a 3-star offense. He was definitely on the list. Some other guys are going to have a big game against him if the offense scores 6, 7, 8 runs, which they're poised to do. Your job is to dig a little bit deeper and find those guys. Maybe you use xWOBA numbers off of the MLB starting lineups page. Maybe you use that. That's a great indicator. I don't do that typically in my process until later, but it's a great way to find those guys. Skipping over to Seattle. Remember, we only had Haniger on the list yesterday, but look who showed up. Healy, Romine, Cano, Freitas, whatever. But look, 3 plate appearances. I'm not including Freitas and Romine. I would say Cano, Healy, and Haniger form a nice core stack, a nice 3-man stack. You want to throw Nelson Cruz in there? Go for it. You're not going to be wrong if you do. But I would stick with what I know is the hot bats as my foundation when I'm stacking that offense. Pittsburgh, who do we have? Frazier, Polanco. I wouldn't be using Pablo Reyes with only 5 at-bats. St. Louis, 2-star offenses carry a little bit more risk, not quite as many indicators pointing up, arrows pointing up for them. Carson Kelly, no at-bats. Munoz, Wisdom's been hot. Molina, DeYoung. I would stay off of Jose Martinez. Dude is cold. He's had bases loaded scenarios 3 days in a row with less than 2 outs and can't even get a runner in. It's gross. Taking horrible at-bats right now. That said, he's a very, very good hitter. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pop one out tonight, but if I saw 100 at-bats out of him the way he's hitting the ball right now, I wouldn't be counting on much. It isn't good. I would be looking at Marcell Ozuna maybe getting hot. Got some rest for that shoulder. Hit 2 dongs out last night. I'm not a big guy on chasing double dongs, but when a guy is showing signs that he's getting hot, it's not bad to jump on the train and ride it for a few days just to see if you don't catch a few of those hot streaks. That would be where I would look at with St. Louis. That's not really insider information for you, but it is a fan's perspective, so it is not unbiased, just so you know. Tampa Bay, Brandon Lowe, CJ Cron, Pham, Choi, Wendell, Moore, Kiermaier. Cut out Moore because of the at-bats, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in that lineup and cheap. This would be a core stack of mine tonight. Core stack. And I'd be running combinations of them all. If you remember back in May, Tommy Pham was getting MVP considerations. He is streaky. If he's getting hot again and he's figured it out, we look over here, 400 over the last 30 days, good numbers, 460, 450. He's sustaining that over 2 weeks or more. I'd be on him. He's priced pretty low. He should be a $4,000 player or so right now the way he's playing. Hot streaks. You gotta ride the hot streaks. If I was playing cash games, he'd be a one-off of mine most likely right now. I'd go look at his game logs, make sure he's getting, 9 to 15 points per night, and it's not 0 here and 30 here and 0 here and 30 here. But if he's getting me the 9 to 15 points in, say, 6 out of his last 10 starts, then I'm all over him for cash. Tampa Bay, we've got Colorado's the last one we'll do. Then we'll put a little bow on this and ship it off. Matt Holliday, Trevor Story, Charlie Blackmon, Chris Iannetta, and David Dahl. Those are the guys I'd be looking for, especially Iannetta and Dahl if they get the starts because they're a little bit cheaper. Holliday's pretty cheap too. Good cheap stack for Colorado. That said, looking over here at somebody like a Blackmon, 405 down to 381. That's not a big concern with the Blackmon. He's a pretty cash safe player most of the time. But I haven't used him a lot this year, honestly, because he hasn't been hot when I've wanted to pick on the offense or wanted to stack the offense. So anyway, those are basically the parameters at which we're looking for when we're running down the pitching and attacking the pitching and then the hot bats inside those offenses. That sets you up for today's MLB slate. If you want to run through the process again on the smaller slates and the late slate, go for it. Be my guest. I won't be covering those slates today baseball-wise. I'm just swamped with NFL content, but I don't want to let baseball go completely because to me, baseball's fun, and I just want to do this for myself, take my notes, write this stuff down, and honestly, if I get a chance to play later tonight, throw a couple of lineups in, I will, and I've got my notes already done. I do this to share it with you just because it's my process. You guys give me great feedback. You guys tell me that you enjoy the process. You enjoy seeing how repeatable it is and seeing the results and how we let variants come up and go down through this process. So be that as it may, there it is for you. What is it, September 5th? MLB main slate breakdown. Obviously, this system applies to any of the smaller slates that you want to run. Some of the players, the pitchers and the bats, the core offenses may switch up if they fall off and are only on the main slate, not on the smaller slates. That's why you got to run the process again. We're going to move on. We're going to start talking football here. I'm going to drop another video shortly on the main slate, break that thing down, walk through my process there. So come back and see me. Follow the link, become a VIP, get access to even the private unlisted videos that I do. Click on the coupon code CHOP or click on the coupon code click on the link. I'm getting confused. Click on the link, dfsarmy.com. Use coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P. Trigger that 10% discount. Come back and see me. This is for Steve Cushman. It's your buddy Chop It On. I'm out of here. Kush.